everybody, and welcome back into Devon Park for our second game of the day. Wonderful first game between UCF and Kansas, and next it will be the top-seeded Texas Tech Red Raiders facing off the number 8 seeded Baylor Bears. And so after the win earlier today for Kansas and UCF, and that was between a 4 and a 5 seed, that played out just about as we expected, a one-run win for Kansas, but started, I think, the tournament off on the right foot. It was good, competitive softball, a really fun game to watch. And we welcome you into the booth. I'm Emma Tatum alongside Kat Osterbrand, and a fun game one, and now looking to just build on that momentum now with Texas Tech, 50 wins on the year, facing a very young Baylor team.
Yeah, Kansas going to face off against the winner of this one, but Texas Tech going into the season was the favorite in the Big 12. They went ahead and was able to achieve that championship status again for the second year in a row. But Baylor did take one game of their series at the very end of Big 12 play, so there's a confident Baylor Bears going into this matchup.
Absolutely, and confident Baylor Bear lineup, though, is going to have to face Nyjah Kennedy, co-pitcher of the year for the Big 12, and I mean, her resume really speaks for itself, but she has just taken, again, the Big 12 by storm.
Well, Nyjah Kennedy, she dominates with a rise ball, a curve ball. She has an off-speed pitch. She will float in there as well, but she is dynamic, she is passionate, and she has a lot of success against this Baylor Bears team in the last 2 years.
And coming off a perfect game on senior day, we'll look to build on her resume, add another postseason win. We've got Baylor and Texas Tech coming up next from Oklahoma City. We'll go back into Devon Park here. The Baylor Bears lining up against Nyjah Kennedy, and it'll be Brooklyn Carter in center field. Samaya Jones in left field. Batting third is Amber Tovin. Leah Cran will bat cleanup at first base. Faith Piper at second base. And Casey West will be the designated player. Batting seventh is Kagan Marshall. Abby Flores, the catcher, bats eighth. And Gianna Guzman, the right fielder, bats ninth. And they will go against the co-pitcher of the year in the Big 12, Nyjah Kennedy. And lots to talk about with Kennedy because, my goodness, does she have the resume, the stats, you name it, she's done it, it seems like at this point. But absolute dominant on the mound, but I think that dominant isn't even the strong enough word to describe Kennedy.
Well, Kennedy is just an absolute presence on the mound. You talk about the speed, she'll go upper 60s, she can hit into the low 70s. She'll mainly use a rise ball and a change up, but she'll spot a curveball low in the zone for a strike. But she is just a dominant arm. And this is a exact same matchup of round 1 in 2025, and she absolutely shut down the lefties from Baylor. So it's going to be key for Brooklyn Carter and the other lefties to figure out what they can do differently to put some pressure on Nyjah Kennedy.
Carter lines it to left center field, though Davis is right there, makes the catch. But Carter, it sounded like some pretty good contact, and must feel good to have at least one good contact against Kennedy this early in the game.
Well, for a leadoff hitter to be able to line drive that, again, a couple of feet left or right, that may get through. But for Carter to be able to stay on top and get a line shot off of Kennedy, first at bat, bodes well. To point out too, Baylor not unfamiliar with Kennedy. They literally just faced her last weekend. So when we talk about their series against Tech, they played less than a week ago. So I've seen plenty of Nyjah Kennedy, and Coach Glenn Moore said he just hoped they weren't still mad about the win that Baylor left Lubbock with. Game 2, they got a win, but Game 3, Nyjah Kennedy, as you mentioned, threw the 5-inning perfect game.
And a little bit surprising that that was her first perfect game.
To be honest, I was surprised when I heard that as well. She's been so dominant that it was a shock she hadn't thrown a perfect.
Here's the defense behind her with Lisa at first base, Williams at second, Pinnell at third, and Tony at the shortstop, then Terry in left, Davis in center, and Allred in right. Valdez behind the plate catching for Kennedy. Which misses low and outside, count evens 2-2.
Duo of Kennedy and Vic Valdez, Coach Jerry Glasgow talked to us about just how well they work together, how comfortable Nyjah is with Valdez back there.
Chases it outside, and that's the first strikeout of the game as Kennedy has retired the first 2 batters she has faced today.
Well, there's Kennedy going with a little bit of a different look, using that curveball away to Samaya Jones, the right-handed hitter, as opposed to a rise ball. We usually see the chase on the pitch up in the zone, but able to extend the plate there with a nice curveball.
Amber Tovin swings and misses for strike 1.
Jerry Glasgow got a catcher in the portal in the offseason in Jazzy Burns from Ohio State. And while she's played a lot and she's been back there, Jerry was quick to point out how comfortable Nyjah is with Vic Valdez. The way Vic works with her after spending a year with her last year, the ride to the World Series Finals. Says there's just a repertoire between those two, or a rapport that you can't duplicate. And so he has Vic Valdez behind there today for Nyjah.
Hit hard on the ground right side, and Tovin reaches on the 2-out single. Looked like she just kind of sat back on that and was just really patient, and Kennedy put it exactly where she was wanting it.
On this pitch on the outer half and up in the zone, and Tobin just able to get around that. Probably not outside enough, but definitely up. And they know she's going to use up spin, so it's a matter of being able to stay on top of it and really let your barrel, just get your barrel to the ball and let her power put it in play.
Leah Cran, the junior, 29 RBI in the year. But Baylor as a whole, a very young team. 18 freshmen or sophomores, so Cran, one of the upperclassmen, and Baylor just finding success despite the young roster.
Coach Glenn Moore said it was probably the youngest roster he's ever had, and he's been there for over 25 years. So that's a lot of rosters to go through, and so they had to take their lumps. There are some losses that he doesn't like that are on their resume. Again, another team after the win at Tech last weekend, most likely in the tournament, has to see a couple things fall their way. Right now, so far, talking about the SEC conference, both Missouri and Auburn will not advance, and that helps Baylor and Kansas chances in the Big 12. And he says this young roster had to get some experience before they figured out how to put all the pieces together, but he likes where they've been the last couple weeks.
Youthful enthusiasm. That's how he described it.
He also said at times reckless abandon. So you put those two things together.
3-2 called strike 3 in on the corner. Kennedy already with a pair of strikeouts as Baylor strands a runner at first. We head to the bottom of the first in Oklahoma City.
Being on a path trying to go to the Olympics, your life revolves around your training and making yourself better. The KRT Athletic Muscle Cream definitely makes me more confident and makes me want to go further. I started using their cream and my hamstring issues started going away. And so I use it before training, I use it after training. I am religious about this stuff. I want to be an Olympian, but I don't just want to go to the Olympics, I want to win a medal.
Old Trapper Beefs. Pack smash.
My peanut butter and jelly.
Ew.
Oh no. Yeah, I guess my ham and cheese didn't make it.
Old Trapper. What's your beef?
Now that's a great view.
Yep.
Bottom of the first, here is how Texas Tech lines up. Mia Williams will lead things off at second base. Jackie Leese, the first baseman, bats second. Designated players Jazzy Burns with the right fielder Lauren Allred batting cleanup. Batting fifth is Taylor Pinnell. At third base, center fielder Maya Davis. Batting seventh in left field is Caitlin Terry. Haley Toney, the shortstop, bats eighth. And batting ninth is the catcher Victoria Valdez. And they will face off against the right-hander and Peyton Tanner. The sophomore, which goes back to what we were talking at the top of the first inning, a pretty young team for Baylor. First pitch, this is a little bit high for ball one. And Baylor had a base runner in the top of the first inning. Got a single off of Kennedy, but I'm unable to score any runs. Foul back and out of play.
Well, Peyton Tanner, one of the two sophomore pitchers that Glenn Moore got to transfer into Baylor in the offseason. She's really worked herself into being a number one, shared one number one spot with Cambry Krager, but as of lately has had the hot hand.
Mia Williams making some contact with that last one, but gonna foul down the left field line, and Tanner quickly ahead in the count, 1-2. This is just a little bit inside. The count evens 2-2.
That was a pretty pitch by Tanner, and you see Tovin and Faith Piper's reactions. Thought that would have been a strike. That was a nice knee height and split the corner there on the inner half.
How important is that next pitch after you might get a frustrating call when you might have thought that could have been strike three? How important is that next one that follows?
Well, it's important just to show that you're not rattled, that you don't get over emotional about it. But at the same time, a hitter knows that they just watched one that was borderline, and so you go right back at them. There you see Peyton Tanner is going to sit about 65, 66. She can up it up just a little bit sometimes, but she's going to mix both sides of the plate up in the zone. But that changeup is the difference maker. It is a dirty pitch when she can locate it.
Williams gives it a ride to center field, and this one is out of the ballpark. Mia Williams puts the Red Raiders on the board, bottom of the first inning, and that was a no-doubter off the bat. And Texas Tech takes the early lead.
Well, facing the full count, Mia Williams just takes this curveball dead center field. And this This Texas Tech lineup has so much power. You cannot miss over the white of the plate or be too predictable. Jerry Glasgow, he mixed the lineup up. He said he looked at the last 5 games, in his words, wanted to go with a more OU type lineup where he puts his good hitters in the top 4, not in the middle of the order to hit in people who get on base, but his power, his impact hitters. Mia Williams hitting 600 in the last 5 games and leads this one off with the big bomb.
Well, and Williams too. I mean, she leads the team with homers now with 21 on the year, plus with RBI, and now it's 71. So she has that production, and so far this kind of different looking lineup, looking so far so good. Pitch now misses outside, ball 3.
One thing about Jerry Glasgow is he never keeps things the same. Even if he's winning, he finds ways to tinker and figure out how can we be even better. He will flip and flop the lineup. For so long of his career, he had Maya Davis both at Louisiana, and she moved to Tech with him, and she's been at the top of the lineup. But after looking at how things have shaken out, as we mentioned, last 5 games, now in the 6th hole. Just trying to figure out how can they put the most pressure on a pitcher and an opposing defense.
And this one's lined to center field, and it's back-to-back hits for Tech here in the bottom of the 1st inning. Off of Peyton Tanner. And here comes Jasmine Burns.
Well, Texas Tech very familiar with Peyton Tanner after last weekend, and so you can tell they're ready for that outside pitch, and they're just driving it up the middle. They're not trying to pull it, not necessarily go with it. Quick enough hands that they can get the barrel and keep it up the middle.
This is inside to Burns, and Burns the transfer from Ohio State. All Big Ten first team last year. Runner at first and nobody out. Called strike on the outer half.
Well, last 3 weeks of season, Jazzy Burns has been on an absolute terror. Jerry Glasgow and company came through Texas. And since then, Jazzy Burns has been just a different player. And asking Coach Glasgow, you know, what is it that got her going? And he said they had a very heart-to-heart conversation. He said, I got to understand her. She understood where I was coming from. And since, I've had a different kid in the way she swung the bat and approached the game. 4 home runs in 4 games, including a grand slam in the 1st inning on Saturday against Baylor. That's just to cap off the end of the regular season.
Right. When the other people might be getting tired around this time of year, it seems like she heated up all of a sudden. Pitch misses low and outside for ball 3. 3 consecutive full counts worked against Peyton Tanner to begin this bottom of the 1st. Sophomore pitcher, and Red Raiders are putting together some really competitive at-bats as Burns skies it down the 3rd base line, foul territory. And it is caught by Marshall. That takes care of the 1st out. In the bottom of the 1st inning, here's the defense playing behind Tanner. It is Cran at first base, Piper at 2nd, Tovin the shortstop, and Marshall at 3rd base. Then in the outfield, Jones in left, Carter in center, and Guzman in right. Flores behind the plate catching for Tanner. First pitch off the plate a bit for ball 1 to Lauren Allred.
Been a lot of juggling of the lineup for Coach Glenn Moore too, especially defensively.
And on the ground of the 2nd baseman, flips to the shortstop, on to first, 4-6-3 double play. How about that young defense by Baylor? It gets out of the inning, but it's a solo homer by Mia Williams. Puts the Raiders on the board, but the double play gets them out of the inning. We head to the top of the 2nd. Texas Tech leading 1-0. Top of the second, back in Oklahoma City, a beautiful day, and Nyjah Kennedy doing what she does best. Couple of strikeouts already in the first inning. Faith Piper to lead things off, and Texas Tech already giving her some run support after the leadoff home run in the bottom of the first inning by Mia Williams. First pitch, bounce to the first baseman. Leeson just meets Piper down the first base line, applies the tag. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Piper was going to try to juke her, and Jackie List just stood there like, there's nowhere for you to go.
Right. You have to come to me. There's Casey West.
Casey West, a graduate senior who has been able to affect Baylor on both sides of the ball. She has been defensively sound for Baylor over the course of her career. Also has had action in the circle in the past, not as much this year as a graduate student.
Chases that one outside for strike 1.
But offensively has come up in some big moments, and none bigger. She got the game-winning hit in that win against Baylor last Friday. Coach Glenmore not giving her the nod here at DP.
This is just a little bit outside again from Kennedy for ball 2. Swing and a miss. And this season, there's been 46 different lineup combinations in 53 games. It must be kind of fun in a way of having such a young team. You're able to kind of mix and match and see who feeds off of who does best in what spot in the lineup. Count goes full for West.
Well, and some of that has been injury that Coach Glenmore has been dealing with. Carrington Dawson went out in their series against Houston. She was an everyday player, one of the most athletic players he talks about that he's ever coached. When you have a player of that caliber that goes out, and I think just other injuries throughout the course of season has mixed and matched. He even joked when he told us that over 40 different lineups, and I don't know that I've ever done that in my career.
Another foul ball as West has a good battle with Kennedy. They also lost to Avery Waddell for the season. Could have been their best offensive threat. I think, too, he's able to see who's stepping up in their absences. 3-2, freezes her at the plate. Called strike 3, third strikeout of the day for Kennedy.
You can tell that Baylor not ready for Kennedy to exploit that outer half. That's the second strikeout looking, where strike 3 has been over the plate and at a good height. Baylor going to have to figure out how they're going to attack pitches in the zone.
Marshall sends it foul down the left field line.
Not easy to game plan against a dominant arm like Kennedy. So while we talk up here like, hey, you should do this, it's not easy, and I don't think I could even see 70 miles an hour coming in, so I'm not going to pretend that I'd be able to get the bat on it.
But you're right, if they're over the plate with 2 strikes, you do have to protect at a certain point.
And I think you can tell when it's going to expand up versus when it's staying down, because there are 2 different spins that you can see in order to see the movement.
Are they able to pick up the spin out of her hand or as the ball leaves?
I think it's more as the ball leaves, and you can see if it's spinning sideways a little bit to kind of be a curveball, or if you see the upward or the backspin or even the corkscrew that points up to see that it's going to come up and out of the zone.
A lot to look at when it's coming 70 miles an hour at you.
Well, and as someone who wasn't in the box very often, it's easy for me to always say, what are you doing? And I feel like hitters probably say that same thing about pitchers. Like, what are you doing? It can't be that hard.
1-2 is skied high down the left field line. Terry back at the wall. Is it a fair or a foul ball? That's a foul ball. That one was close.
That pitch extremely or that ball extremely close. I thought it was fair. Again, we're up high and a little bit at an angle, but I thought Keegan Marshall got all of that one.
It's tough to tell on the replay, too.
Yeah, it's so high above the foul pole that it's hard to tell, but Brian Crochet right there on the third baseline calling that one foul.
Just misses outside as the count evens 2-2.
Big Valdez thought they had strike 3 there. Again, another curveball. And that pitch is the one that Baylor's going to have to start fouling off and or hitting as she's coming back in the zone for strike 3. A little bit different of a look than using the rise ball to get the chase.
Marshall now works the count full. Back-to-back full counts worked against Kennedy in the top of the second. Here's the payoff. High ball 4. 2-out walk issue to Marshall. Tying run is aboard for Baylor, and here comes Flores, the catcher. First pitch hits a swing and a miss by Flores. Offers again, and now Flores down in the count 0-2.
Kennedy does a really good job of being able to spot that pitch low and out against the lefties. Then she'll elevate in the same plane.
Right now, guys, right now.
In this tournament last year, that's what she did, was almost screwball, screwball. Then I'm going to elevate rise ball in the outer half. The Baylor lefties were unable to lay off it.
Gets a piece of this one and stays alive in the at-bat. So Baylor has had a pair of base runners now, had a single by Amber Tovin in the first inning. Marshall stands at first with the walk. But Kennedy's numbers last season in the tournament, 26 strikeouts.
Kennedy trying to mix that off-speed pitch in there. Not as much command of it so far early in this game as we usually see.
Yeah.
Just off the plate, ball 3, and that's the third consecutive full count works by the Bears in this inning. First resulted in a strikeout, second resulted in a walk. Flores at the plate. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And that's a called strike 3 on the outside part of the plate. 4 strikeout for Kennedy as the Bears strand Marshall at first base. Texas Tech takes the 1-0 lead at the bottom of the second.
The main obstacle has been the same throughout my life, is you're not big enough, you're not fast enough, you're not strong enough. And so just kind of having that chip on my shoulder of like, all right, head first down some ice, that's the way we're gonna go. Working with KRT Athletic Muscle Cream has helped me improve every aspect of my physicality. So being able to have my muscle, my joints, and my tendons healthy, not cramp up, and be ready to achieve the extra reps, because those extra reps are what's gonna make the difference between a medal and a non-medal.
Hell of a good.
Seriously? No hell of a good dip? Whoa, creamy. A double dip. Where's Jill?
Hell of a good.
It's not a party without hell of a good.
Hell of a good.
Hello?
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Just a beautiful day for some softball all day in Oklahoma City. Here at Devon Park, 72 degrees, no clouds in sight. Just about everything you can ask for a May afternoon. Second of 4 games today to be played. Texas Tech and Baylor, and off to a fun start, 1-0 Red Raiders with a leadoff home run by Mia Williams.
Fun start, plus the almost home run by Baylor to tie it. That would have been an interesting turn of events, but sophomore Peyton Tanner back out in the circle.
Taylor Pinnell, the third baseman. And Tanner had some help from her defense in that first inning after giving up the leadoff home run. Then gave up a single and then 4-6-3 double play ended the inning.
And even in the win against Texas Tech, Baylor had quite a few good defensive plays. Sadie Ross started that game, but for the most part, pitched herself out of trouble.
Swing and a miss for strike 2.
Wouldn't be surprised if Baylor uses a couple different arms if they keep this game close, or if they're able to chip away and win, and if Tech takes a lead.
A full count for Taylor Pinnell. That's already the 4th full count worked against the sophomore. Here's the payoff. Swing, and she puts it up high to shallow left center field. Tovin backpedaling into the Oklahoma sunshine. She makes the catch. First down the bottom of the second.
When you talk about no cloud in the sky and clear blue skies, but sometimes that can be harder to track the ball if you don't have anything contrasting, especially when they go that high.
Well, and Tovin's not wearing a visor either, or sunglasses.
Saw her shading with her hands and her glove a little bit.
I would think for the sophomore in the circle and going up, you're going up against the #1 seed Texas Tech, knowing you have that defense behind you has to be a little bit of a sense of relief.
Yeah, Baylor and defenses under Coach Glenn Moore have been historically strong, and again, having to move some pieces around this year, there's been a little bit of shakiness. Kagan Marshall playing third as a freshman sometimes, and then they've mixed and matched in the outfield, especially with Carrington Dawson going down. But still, up the middle has been where Baylor has always made their name, and Amber Tovin, one of those staples.
3-1 to Davis. Swing, and she lines it to left field. Charging in is Jones, who makes the catch. Feels a little bit like a good bounce back inning for Tanner after giving up the home run in the first inning. Now she looks like she's a little bit more settled in here.
Well, the big thing for Peyton Tanner is really to be able to use both sides of the plate and that off speed. If she can continue to make the Red Raiders guess at which point she's going to execute, it's going to bode well for the sophomore. She does throw hard, but that is sometimes is her downfall, is walks and then honing in, or getting the full count and then honing in. And so we talked to Coach Glenn Moore, and he talked about it. He said, I want all of my pitchers to be more efficient. We throw a lot of pitches sometimes that aren't necessary or aren't competitive. Efficiency is the key if they're going to have success in the circle. And if you're going to go deep in the game against an offense like Texas Tech, efficiency is going to be your best friend.
2-1 count for Terry. Takes it on the inside part of the plate for a called strike. Terry having another strong year for Tech. A bit of a check swing, foul ball at the plate.
You see Tanner working the inner half. As a pitcher, if you're not afraid to work that inner half, it opens up so much for you, but you have to not be afraid, not just to throw the strike there, but also paint the river in order to be able to continue to control that. We see a lot of pitchers these days dominant if you're a righty on arm side, where you throw a lot out to lefties and then you try to go across to righties, but not necessarily a lot that like to challenge in at all times.
3-2 is popped up in the shortstop. Tovin using her hand, shading her eyes from the sun. She makes the catch. 3 up, 3 down. Peyton Tanner and the Bears. We head to the top of the third. Texas Tech leading 1-0. Nyjah Kennedy in the circle for Texas Tech this year, or today rather, and over her career, over 1,000 strikeouts. Has a 1.30 ERA, a 21-4 record this season, and she has just been dominant for Texas Tech and has really helped put the program now on the map after capturing now back-to-back Big 12 titles.
And there you see 37% of her outs are strikeouts, and so far for today, 3 looking, which to me shows she's commanding in the zone. The looking strikeout means that you're challenging with 2 strikes and able to freeze the hitter enough. I think Baylor thinking she's going to go with the rise ball in certain counts, so may not be as aggressive in getting frozen when that pitch is in the zone.
Swings and misses for strike 2. Now, looking at the strikeout lookings, you expect Baylor to maybe become a little bit more aggressive then? As Guzman swings and misses for strike 3 for a 3-pitch strikeout, and that's Kennedy's 5th of the day.
Yeah, again, right there with 2 strikeouts, or 2 strikes, excuse me. Kennedy doesn't necessarily go rise ball out of the zone. She's still using that tailing rise ball, screwball in order to work away, but it was close enough to the zone that Guzman has to protect.
And another first pitch strike here to Brooklyn Carter.
I think that's going to be the key with Baylor, is if you see it belt down, making sure you're working on being aggressive at that pitch. When it's belt up, that's when you're going to let it go. Right now, too, you can see 69 miles an hour off the arm of Kennedy. Have to be able to catch up to that while respecting her off speed.
Swing, and Carter sends it foul, so she gets a piece of it at 67. Kennedy said she came to Tech to win a World Series, and they came close last year. Oh, 2. That was close. Kennedy thought that was close too.
She wanted that. A curveball in the inner half, just at the knees, and I probably would have had the same reaction. Matt Dial probably thought that was a little bit low, but it was a nice pitch.
Weekly hit third base side. Pennell has it, throws to first, and that's in time for out number 2.
Well, Texas Tech in all sports have really poured into the NIL, and Coach Jerry Glasgow and company there at Tech able to use that to their advantage and bringing over quite a few athletes in the portal in the offseason. But 2 years ago, Nyjah Kennedy made waves as she went in the portal, visited a number of different places, and in the end, not just landing at Texas Tech, but landing at Texas Tech with a $1 million NIL deal from the Matador Club. Obviously with some rule changes and rev share and all those things now, that is a little bit different play, but Texas Tech still pouring into all of their programs with the donor money in order to really elevate and be competitive. And that's what Jerry Glasgow and his crew, as he continues to tinker with his roster year over year, have really done.
Grounded right back to Kennedy. 3 up, 3 down here in the top of the third. Texas Tech still out in front, 1-0 here in Oklahoma City. Texas Tech, the offense turnaround last season outside the top 40 in a handful of offensive categories. This year looks vastly different. Now they're in the top 5, home runs, slugging percentage, batting average. Tech has found ways to kind of complement the defense, complement the arms that they have. Not only just Nyjah Kennedy, but the rest of the pitching staff as well.
Oh yeah, in the offseason, he had Nia Williams, who was out in Florida, Jackie Liss, who made a name for herself. Jasmine Burns was the home run hitter from Ohio State. Taylor Pennell coming over from Tennessee. And then Caitlin Terry, who really has been the brightest offensive spot for Jerry Glasgow, brought over to be an arm to complement Nyjah Kennedy and be able to split some games with her. But really offensively has been more than Jerry Glasgow expected. So she also has added to that those offensive numbers. But he really did go to work and get some athletes in the portal to offensively match what they can do in the circle.
He said that he thinks that Tech has made the biggest jump since last season with the talent that he's added, but he did mention, he said, watch out for Oklahoma State, but he thinks that Texas Tech has made the biggest jump from last season to this year. He says that his squad has responded really well to losses and they just play professionally.
A lot of times he gets athletes and they're good athletes, but they don't necessarily understand when he says how you work and play professionally. So he's able to navigate with them, him having some experience coaching in pro ball. I got to play under him in the NPF with the Florida Pride. But he has watched some of the best and how they work, and he tries to take his experience seeing elite athletes work and transfer and push that on his players there at Tech.
3-2 to Tony, and she spoils another one, foul left side this time. And the Red Raiders continue to be a tough out for Peyton Tanner. And despite Tanner having a multitude of full counts worked against her, she's able to handle it well. Has really only allowed that leadoff home run to Mia Williams. Issues, though, a leadoff walk in the bottom of the 3rd inning. There is Victoria Valdez.
Tanner's flirted with the full count a number of times, but this time unable to come back on Tony. Issues the free pass.
Puts down a bunt. Quick throw over to first, and they check the runner at second, but Tony is safe. So Valdez with a good bunt to advance the runner, and it's now back to the top of the lineup with Mia Williams.
Oh, not enough time to talk too much about Vic Valdez, but that was the everyday catcher last year. She got to hit in every single game, has had limited opportunities, as we mentioned, with Jerry Glasgow getting Jazzy Burns, but comes here her first at bat.
Close play at second.
Completely unselfish sac bunt. Weren't we talking in game 1 about the back pick at second base? And
we sure were.
There we see it. Abby Flores not shy to let it loose and try to get Tony off second.
That was close, too. I believe it was Carter in the outfield, had her hands on her head thinking we might have had it. Thought we had it. But Williams, that leadoff home run in the bottom of the 1st, that's been the difference maker so far. Still just a 1-run game. Texas Tech looking to take advantage of a leadoff base runner. That's what we saw in the 1st game of the tournament with Kansas. Which misses high and inside, ball 3.
Well, this is where Tanner will occasionally get herself in trouble. She will walk a few, then dial in, execute some really good pitches. Coach Moore wants to see that dial in and execution earlier before the pressure's put on.
This is now the 7th full count. Another payoff, and Williams spoils it.
Well, you can tell Mia Williams ready to hit. That pitch up in the zone just got enough.
Pulls it left field line and foul.
I'm about to say I would throw a changeup here, but Tanner didn't keep it low enough in the zone, so Williams able to get enough barrel on that to waste it.
Puts it up foul, just below us.
Back-to-back changeups from Tanner. That time a little bit lower, so Williams not able to get as much of it.
9th pitch of the at-bat already. A good battle between Tanner and Williams.
Back-to-back off speeds allows Tanner to be able to possibly go inside.
And Williams lines it down the left field line off the glove of Jones into the corner. Williams with a double. Tony holds at 3rd, mostly because she had to see if Jones was going to make that catch or not. But Mia Williams already 2 for 2 with a pair of extra base hits. Here comes Jassy Lease.
Well, this pitch on the inner half, but mid-thigh high, and Williams gives it a drive. It looks like Samaya Jones might catch that one, but as she reaches that off the tip of her glove, and Tony was already tagging, and that's why she's only able to get to 3rd. I think on that hard of a line drive, Tony stays off and watches the play instead of going back. She may be able to score. But right now, Baylor calling time to regroup.
And Lease already with a single off of Tanner in the 1st inning.
Well, you mentioned the 43 different lineups for Coach Glenn Moore. Samaya Jones, someone who's had to adjust to the outfield, normally a middle infielder. needed her bat in the lineup, and obviously, as we mentioned, had some injuries. Has been moved to the outfield for a good part of season.
I think it's a ball that was hit so hard, it looked like a pretty solid route, just out of her reach. Two on and one out, bottom of the third. Called strike two, and so Peyton Tanner ahead early, 0-2 count.
Regrouping there gave Tanner a chance to catch her breath, challenging Jackie Lease in this first two pitches.
Off the end of the bat, foul first base side for count that stays 0-2. I think Oklahoma State has rolled in.
What gave you that indication?
What an entrance. There's the 0-2, and Lee sends it deep down the left field line. It's over the wall. 3-run blast. Jackie Liss breaks this one open 4-0. Texas Tech, bottom of the third.
Well, 0-2, not a problem. This pitch up in the zone, and Jackie Liss absolutely drills this over the left field wall. That's where it becomes so crucial to be able to pinpoint location against hitters. 0-2, that pitch has to be higher or in more. But you leave it to where the barrel can get, and the Red Raiders are going to take advantage.
What does that do for you mentally as a pitcher? Because you seemingly look like you're having a good bounce back at bat. You're up with a 2-strike count, and then that happens.
Well, right now, it's probably, there are times you think I can't buy a break. Obviously got the line shot, and it's off Samaya Jones' glove. And then there you're in 0-2 count, but you don't execute the pitch as well as you need to. But Peyton Tanner knows she has to go right back at it. Gonna face Jazzy Burns. There's an arm in the bullpen for Baylor. Looks like it might be Lexi Warnicki.
Tanner goes right against Burns with the first pitch strike. This is outside as the count evens 1-1. Texas Tech capitalizing off that leadoff walk by Haley Toney, then a double by Williams, and a 3-run blast by Jackie Lease.
Again, it's the leadoff walk that allows an offense to get going without really having to earn it.
2-1 misses low.
You see here that pitch looking to be on the outer corner, but low in the zone. When you don't establish that you're continually going to pound the strike zone, the opposing offense doesn't have to come into the box aggressive.
Swing, and Burns puts it down the right field line. Guzman is there, makes the catch.
Interesting enough, Coach Glasgow and Hunter Beach calling time to talk to Jazzy Burns, and Lauren Allred joined that conversation. But Burns kind of had the momentum of that at bat. They almost let Peyton Tanner have a chance to catch her breath.
Allred puts it into play in the left field. It's caught by Jones. The inning comes to an end, but it's a 3-run homer by Jackie Lease. That extends Texas Tech's lead. They take a 4-0 lead to the top of the fourth here in Oklahoma City.
being on a path trying to go to the Olympics, your life revolves around your training and making yourself better. The KRT Athletic Muscle Cream definitely makes me more confident and makes me want to go further. I started using their cream and my hamstring issues started going away. And so I use it before training, I use it after training. I am religious about this stuff. I want to be an Olympian, but I don't just want to go to the Olympics, I want to win a medal.
Old Trapper Beefs. Pack smash.
My peanut butter and jelly.
Ew.
Oh no. Yeah, I guess my ham and cheese didn't make it.
Old Trapper. What's your beef?
Now that's a great view.
Yep.
Top of the fourth inning back in Oklahoma City. We welcome in head coach Glenn Moore. And coach, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. What does it say? You have Peyton Tanner in the circle right now, but the defense behind her getting a double play has seemed to be really a key for her right now.
Yeah, we're not going to strike a lot out, so she's got to keep them off balance and hopefully get a few miss hits and then make some plays behind her. Hard hit ball to left field kind of got away from Samaya, but you know, they've been making great plays behind her.
Coach, talk about offensively. It looks like you guys are being fairly aggressive against Nyjah Kennedy, putting some balls in play. We saw the almost home run by Kagan Marshall. What's the game plan going in against Kennedy today?
Well, I think 12 of the home runs she's given up this year have been early in the count, one her first or second pitch, so we wanted to focus early on. And most pitchers want to get ahead there, so that's a good count to hit in. And then you got to battle, make her throw extra pitches. I think we're doing that. You know, that's what got to her a little bit last Friday when we had some success against her.
Perfect. Thank you for joining us, Coach.
Appreciate it.
He has to like that they are executing the game plan. They're swinging early in the count. The strikeouts looking show that they're not swinging late in the count.
Late in the count, exactly.
But at the same time, expecting probably, as we've mentioned, her to expand the zone. But he did hit it when he said how many home runs she's given up early in the count. The analytics that have come into softball, and I know historically you call a lot of baseball, so analytics is huge and always has been in baseball for a while now. But it's starting to trickle into softball, but there have been so many more data, and you look at the numbers of, as he said, home runs early in the count versus late, on what pitch, probably what temperature and what time of day as well. But
how many clouds in the sky?
Right. But all of that starting to be a big factor in our game, which is allowing the offense to start to really boom.
And I think it's all about disseminating the information that you're given, because with all of those details, which I'm sure there is a metric for, you know, the day game ERA versus night game ERAs, and all of those little things, catcher ERAs that can, you know, kind of flood into the number side of things. I think it's really important of how you give those numbers to your players to where it makes sense, but doesn't overload them. And I think such a sort of simple sounding stat of she gives up this X many home runs. The 0-2 is line foul. She gives up X amount of home runs with a 1-2 count. Pretty easy. That is, you know, kind of goes into that game plan that you're able to execute, which, like you said, they have been able to.
You can definitely tell they're working on being aggressive early in the count. And now it hasn't hurt Nyjah at all for that they're being aggressive, because she's been effective. In fact, we mentioned it at the break. She only threw 11 pitches in the third inning, 10 strikes. Some of that because Brooklyn Carter and Samaya Jones were being aggressive and putting the ball in play.
There's the 1-2 to Tovin. It's popped up. First base side, and Kennedy will make the catch herself. Field her own position. Here is Leah Cran.
But to your point, sometimes too much information can be paralysis by analysis.
Exactly.
And you have a hitter in there thinking, okay, I'm 2-2. She normally throws this, but she just threw that. So then at some point, you still have to go play the game.
Right, you have to look at the information that you've taken in over the course of X amount of innings. Because even Kennedy has made adjustments this first game of this year's tournament. She looked different this time last year.
Yeah, you can see definitely a lot lower in the zone, working that curveball, screwball combo. That's an off-speed pitch there.
Left center field, and Terry is there, 2 away.
And that off-speed pitch just enough that Leah Cran was out in front to where, not necessarily the barrel, but more towards the end of bat, and even though it's deep left field, not over the fence.
Obviously, there's 5 strikeouts in there, but almost an even split of flyouts and groundouts forced by Kennedy. First pitch to Piper, misses low and away.
Typically, Kennedy will get a lot of fly balls because of her upspin. But when she's able to stay down in the zone and keep that off-speed pitch a little bit farther down, it allows some ground balls for the defense to be able to work.
Grounds at first base side, Lise is there. 3 unassisted. Kennedy retires them in order, 3 up, 3 down. We head to the bottom of the 4th. Tech leading 4-0. Bottom of the 4th inning back in Oklahoma City, joined on the headset down on the field by head coach Jerry Glasgow of Texas Tech. And coach, you've seen a pair of home runs already from your offense. What needs to happen to keep the line moving and keep the production there?
And we just don't need to let up. We need to keep tacking on a run or two every inning we can and keep extending the lead and keep playing, keep momentum in our dugout.
Coach, a little different look from Nyjah Kennedy. Not as many rise balls going right in the zone with it. Looks like the curveball, screwball kind of combo. Talk about her performance so far.
Yeah, she's kind of rewritten the scout report. That's kind of been her goal, to change that scout report. And I think it's taken a little bit of time, but she seems like she's peaking as she goes into the season. But she's trying to keep people off balance by not just going north-south, but going east and west when we need to.
Awesome. Looks like she's doing a great job. Thank you for joining us, Coach.
Thank you all.
With Taylor Pinnell to lead things off, and Kennedy, I would say, doing a pretty good job of keeping people off balance today.
She's keeping them off balance, and it is a very different look. So if you scouted north-south, you're not getting that. Obviously, Baylor, coming off the series with them, had an idea of what she's been doing. The other piece, though, is you're going to go more east-west, and we saw it early. You have to be able to establish the strike, but then also stretch a little bit of that corner. She got the swinging strikeout early, and that curveball tailed off the plate, so going to have to be able to do that late in the game and against better offenses.
Pinnell lines this one to the right of the second base bag. Piper looked like she might have maybe been able to sort of backhand it to knock it down, but it's out of her reach. Leadoff single for Pennell here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Pennell goes with a pitch, and yeah, that looks like Piper might have been able to. I still don't think she gets an out, even if she knocks that down with how deep in the hole she was up there. But you also have to remember the exit velocity of some of these ground balls for Texas Tech are going to be a high rate. Talk about the analytics. Exit velocity is one of those. And talking to different hitting coaches, they say if you can get a certain exit velo off the bat, then even if you get over top of it, it's still a hard hit ball that's probably going to get through the infield.
Davis today 0 for 1 on a fly out to left field. Back in the 2nd. Lines this one the other way and just past the shortstop Tovin. Back-to-back singles for the Red Raiders to start off the bottom of the 4th inning.
Well, this off the end of the bat and just almost a cue ball. You see how that bounced away as Tovin was running after it. Tovin had no play, but a seeing eye single off the bat of Maya Davis.
So Peyton Tanner has allowed a pair of singles to start off this bottom of the 4th inning.
Coach Glenn Moore going out and talking to home plate umpire Matt Dial. Think he's going to be bringing in a new pitcher.
Looks that way. We will step aside with Texas Tech leading 4-0 with Baylor going to the bullpen. Lexi Warnke takes over in the circle for Baylor with 2 on, nobody out. Bottom of the 4th inning. Owns a 5.31 ERA across 26 appearances this season for Baylor. Comes in to take over for Peyton Tanner.
Well, the junior going to work east-west and up. Has really good upspin, curveball, backdoor curve. Has an off-speed pitch that sinks down a little bit, so we'll use that as well. She can throw mid to upper 60s occasionally. Fired up there, 69, 70-ish. The key is for her to find the speed that allows her spin to work as well.
First pitch misses a little bit low and outside. Caitlin Terry at the plate with 2 on. Sends it deep left field. Jones back on it and makes the catch just in front of the warning track. Terry is retired. Both base runners hold. Here is Haley Toney.
Well, big first out for Warnke and early in the at-bat. Despite Terry going deep to left field, key for Lexi Warnke to attack the strike zone early and let her spin work here against the Red Raiders.
Toney takes the first pitch for a called strike, and Toney last season was the only freshman at a Power 4 school to start all of her team's games at shortstop. He drives it high to right center field. Carter drifting over, makes the catch. And Pennell tags at second, does not head to third. So another quick out early in the count, like you said about Terry.
Well, another second pitch, fly ball out. And it's that upspin of Warnke. When she can throw it through the zone, it can take some hitters some time to adjust. right now has done exactly what Baylor needs, but gonna have to make the adjustment here as we see a pinch hitter.
It'll be Desiree Spearman coming off the bench for Texas Tech, junior out of El Paso. Takes the first pitch.
Come on, right here. Touch your back, here we go.
Spearman transferred from New Mexico State. Had a program record 430 batting average.
Another offensive piece that Jerry Glasgow went and grabbed from the portal last year. Well, not playing every day, still has been able to come in and be productive for the Red Raiders.
Pitch misses, or rather it's a called strike on the outside part of the plate.
Warnke going back-to-back curveballs, and I like to see the repeat of that pitch. You got strike one, go strike two and see if you can get the swing and miss at this point. She hasn't offered out a pitch yet, so doesn't have timing.
Swing and a miss for strike three, and Lexi Warnke comes in. 2 on, nobody out. Retires the 3 batters she faces. Head to the top of the 5th. Texas Tech still out in front 4-0.
The main obstacle has been the same throughout my life, is you're not big enough, you're not fast enough, you're not strong enough. And so just kind of having that chip on my shoulder of like, all right, head first down some ice, that's the way we're gonna go. Working with KRT Athletic Muscle Cream has helped me improve every aspect of my physicality. So being able to have my muscle, my joints, and my tendons healthy, not cramp up, and be ready to achieve the extra reps, because those extra reps are what's gonna make the difference between a medal and a non-medal.
Hell of a good.
Seriously? No hell of a good dip? Whoa, creamy. A double dip. Where's Jill?
Hell of a good.
It's not a party without hell of a good.
Hell of a good.
Hello?
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the seat view feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Top of the 5th, back at Devon Park. A gorgeous day for softball all day here in Oklahoma City. Already had one game finished this morning. Kansas beating UCF to advance to play the winner of this game. Texas Tech and Baylor tomorrow. Casey West, Kagan Marshall, and Abby Flores due up against Nyjah Kennedy. Kennedy now has retired 7 in a row after issuing a walk to Marshall back in the 2nd inning. She's only allowed 2 base runners. Kennedy was selected the 2nd overall pick by the Texas Volts, AUSL. And funny enough, Kat, I think you're the general manager of that team.
I am the general manager of the Volts. And yep, we had the 2nd pick, and Nyjah Kennedy was there. And so I think no-brainer pick to go ahead and take the right-handed pitcher. Between her and Carlin Pickens, it was in the conversation all year long, which was going to go 1 and 2. And obviously, I had to wait to see what the Carolina Blaze did, but excited to add the right-hander. Excited to let her come along and play with some seasoned vets that I have. Rachel Garcia, who's been in pro ball and on the national team for a long time. Ali Carta, who was on the Olympic team in 2020. So some pitchers that really will help her grow quickly, I feel like. And then aside from the dominance in the circle, obviously being the Texas Volts and her being at Texas Tech, it's also a no-brainer to go ahead and keep her in state. See if we can get some Red Raider fans down to Round Rock. Granted, all this is contingent on her signing after she graduates.
Strikes out Casey West. And of course, she wasn't the only one out of the Big 12 drafted. Sydney Stewart and Kinsey Brown, they'll be in the nightcap tonight.
And those two will both go to Portland Cascade and have to probably imagine Kinsey Brown's probably like, yes, I don't have to pitch to Sydney Stewart anymore. Sydney Stewart probably doesn't want to see Kinsey Brown's rise ball too much more either, but Kinsey Brown was another pitcher we had in our conversation, depending on what we did with the second pick, knowing that if we had gone offense in the first round, the second round, could we have picked up an arm that was formidable? And Kinsey Brown was one of those in the conversation for us as well. So Big 12 represented, and exciting to see all three athletes get their name called. And obviously the golden tickets happened ahead of time to notify athletes and fans that they were drafted. So Monday night was just more about figuring out what pick you were and what team you're going to.
The videos from the golden tickets were pretty cool with Kim Ng on the field and being able to see the reactions of their teammates when the tickets were handed out.
Well, and some of them are probably obvious. I don't think anyone on Texas Tech was going to be surprised that Nyjah Kennedy got drafted, but it was cool to see Patrick Mahomes then on the scoreboard to tell her that she was the first golden ticket. I think when Kim Ng said her friend Patrick, everyone thought he might walk out to the field, but he was. And there you see Nyjah Kennedy, no stranger. He signed her to an NIL deal with his line with Adidas.
3-2 is Sky to right center field. Sprinting over is Allred. It looked like Davis might have slowed up a little bit, but Allred makes the catch.
We might have to see if Nyjah can convince Patrick Mahomes to. I got a suite he can sit in, so he can come down to a game and hang out.
You get the whole Mahomes family down there. But I think it goes to show, too, what Nyjah Kennedy has done for the sport itself. Obviously, you want to keep her in Texas. That goes hand in hand really nicely, but she's almost just like a household name at this point.
Well, she is, and even when she pitched for Stanford, taking them to the World Series 2 times, she was starting to put her name on the map. And then, obviously, the move to Tech, the NIL deal got her name in the headlines even more. And then she's backed that up with performance. And, you know, there are some players that will just bring fanfare with them, and she's one of those.
Hetner now pops it up in the infield, got by Tony, and Nyjah Kennedy making it look easy. 3 up, 3 down again as Texas Tech takes a 4-0 lead to the bottom of the 5th. Bottom of the 5th inning, and it's top of the lineup for Texas Tech. Red Raiders leading 4-0 over Baylor. And Lexi Warnke back out there in the circle. She took over for Peyton Tanner in the bottom of the 4th. Came in and probably a less ideal situation with 2 on, nobody out, but maintained her composure, retired the 3 batters she faced, and got out of the inning without allowing a run. First pitch to Mia Williams is driven deep center field. Carter gives it a look, and it's a first pitch bomb by Mia Williams. That's her 2nd home run of the game. Williams now 3 for 3 with 3 extra base hits.
Well, Jerry Glasgow told us he was adjusting the lineup based on how people have hit in the last 5 games, and Mia Williams was hitting 600. And she continues that hot hitting here. This ball supposed to be outer half, left over the plate, and she hits an absolute line drive just out dead center. Mia Williams seeing beach balls right now.
Team leader in home runs, and I said that in the first inning, but I have to say it again because she just keeps adding to that number. She also keeps adding to the number of most RBI in program history. Her 70 she came into today with was already tied for the program record.
As a pitcher, and the top of the lineup really matters the most in the first inning, but even when you know you're getting back to it, and there's not a table setter, but an absolute threat to be a game changer, you have to be careful with how you pitch. And it forces you to have to not miss over the white, which can lead to walks, and or if you put too much pressure on yourself, a missed pitch then leaves the yard the way Mia Williams has today.
And it's not like you can maybe take a breath if you're Lexi Warnke, because here you have Jackie Lease, who had a 3-run bomb in the 3rd. Gives her a walk on the 3-2 count. Here comes Jazzy Burns. Burns 0 for 2. First pitch misses a little bit inside for ball 1.
Warnke did such a good job early coming in. We said 2 batters retired on 2 pitches. Well, the 2nd pitch of both at bats. Able to use the spin to induce the fly ball. Right now needs to trust that spin again. Despite the home run to Mia Williams, continue to attack the zone and let your spin work.
That misses outside for ball 2. Takes a swing, and it's a foul tip for strike 1.
Well, big swing and a 2-0 count there by Jazzy Burns. See her pull, trying to almost pull that left center, pulled right off that curveball.
Takes the pitch low and outside, ball 3. Puts it hard on the ground, right side. Piper to Tover, over to first. 4-6-3 double play. Another one by the defense. That Piper, Tovin, Cran seems to be working well.
Well, great job by Warnke using that outer half again. Faith Piper coming up, putting herself in a good position. Didn't have to step or anything, but a nice dart throw over there to Tovin. A year ago, Tovin partnered with Presley Pylon, who Coach Glenn Moore will say was probably the best defensive player he has ever coached, which is high praise because he has coached a lot of good defensive players in his time at Baylor. But the 2 of them were quite a pair up the middle for their time in the green and gold. But Tovin sure-handed on the back half of that double play.
Ground ball again to Piper at second base, fires to first. After the leadoff home run, Warnke doesn't allow another run, helped out by a 4-6-3 double play. Highlight the inning for Baylor. We head to the top of the 6th, 5-0 Texas Tech. Top of the 6th inning here in Oklahoma City, and so far it's been Texas Tech hitting 3 home runs off the bats of Mia Williams. She has 2. Jackie Lee's with a 3-run bomb in the 3rd, and then Nyjah Kennedy only allowing 1 hit. That was way back in the 1st inning. 2 base runners on the day for Baylor, as Kennedy has 6 strikeouts through 5 innings. Back out in the circle here in the top of the 6th, and Kennedy, first 2 innings, had 39 pitches. Her last 3, 35 pitches, 26 for strikes.
Definitely lower pitch counts, but we talked to Coach Glenmore, and he said they were trying to swing early in the count. They have seen where people have success the first 2 pitches. As a pitcher, you are trying to work ahead. Been able to put the ball in play. On the flip side, interesting enough, all 5 runs have come because of the home run. If they could keep Tech in the park, this could be a different ball game, because they haven't strung hit after hit where Jerry Glasgow's sending runners and defense is having to make plays.
And out of those home runs, 2 were just solo shots. Lee's had the 3-run homer, and that was because Williams had a double and Tony had a walk, but yeah, you're right. Aside from those big hits, swing and a miss for Vianney at the plate. Pinch hitting for Guzman. Goes inside again, and Kennedy ahead in the count, 1-2.
I'm not shocked. They're going inside, just the 11th at bat of the year for Vianney. So we're going to force the righty to catch up to the speed.
That was a straight back. Two just misses outside.
Guzman was retired on 3 pitches for a strikeout, so Coach Glenmore giving Jensen Vianney a chance. Give Nyjah a little different look than lefties.
Just misses off the plate. Count goes full.
That's a nice pitch, but that is just off the plate. Looked like she wanted that one a little bit, but just a tad outside.
3-2 goes inside and misses, ball 4. third base runner of the game by Baylor, and pinch hitter comes through. Baylor has a leadoff base runner here in the top of the 6th.
On the first leadoff base runner for Baylor.
And that will take Kennedy out of the game. Exceptional outing again. We'll have a new pitcher here in the circle with Texas Tech still leading 5-0. Brooklyn Carter charges in and makes the, or excuse me, Hallerman charges in and makes the catch off the bat of Brooklyn Carter. First pitch from Caitlin Terry, taking over in the circle for Nyjah Kennedy, but Kennedy and Terry been quite the combo this year for Texas Tech. Lefty fires in, a bunt put back to Terry, throws to first. Vianney into scoring position at second base, but Jones with the successful sacrifice. Terry with that 1.39 ERA, 27 appearances, at 21-1 record too.
Well, really has been able to come in and be a compliment to Nyjah Kennedy. Nyjah Kennedy carried the load for Texas Tech last year, and I think by the end of Oklahoma City, they saw that the wear and tear and just being tired at that point in season, and got herself a partner to carry the load with, and Terry really has been able to do that for Texas Tech. The lefty gonna throw in the upper 60s. A lot of east-west, curve screw. She'll use the rise ball. Has an off speed. She'll sneak in there occasionally. Have to believe she was brought in right here for the lefty-on-lefty matchup with Carter and Tovin both being left-handed. Do have Samaya Jones in the middle, but lefty-on-lefty matchup typically favors a pitcher.
Swing and a miss for strike 2.
Terry right now just coming in, guns a-blazing. She's just attacking the strike zone. Almost letting Baylor get themselves out. We saw Brooklyn Carter and Samaya Jones both going after the first pitch with a new pitcher in.
Right. Yeah, you'd think they want to see at least one pitch.
Maybe get a little timing, see what the ball's doing today.
2-2 to Tovin. Fouls the left side in the seats. Two, and that just misses outside, ball 3.
That curveball just tailing up and away from Terry. You've seen Nyjah Kennedy in her outing, 5 innings, just the 1 hit, 2 walks, and they went ahead and gave her a break.
Tovin sends it high to right field. Garcia back on the warning track, makes the catch. So Caitlin Terry comes in and gets the Red Raiders out of the inning without allowing a run. 5-0 Texas Tech. Bottom of the 6th back in Oklahoma City. Texas Tech leading 5-0 over Baylor. Be 5, 6, and 7 in the lineup for the Red Raiders. Facing Lexi Warnke. Still out there, and really the only blemish was the home run in the 5th inning by Mia Williams. Let Pinnell lead things off. Texas Tech. 1 for 2, a single in the 4th. First pitch swinging, skies it to a shallow right center field. Guzman comes in and makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out to begin the bottom of the 6th.
Again, Lexi Warnke, when she lets that spin work, it's hard for hitters to be able to get on top of. She has really good curveball spin so far, inducing 3 fly balls.
First pitch to Davis, bounces it to the shortstop. Tovin has some trouble with it. Gets it over to first, but it's not in time. Davis reaches on the 1-out single.
Maya Davis with so much speed, and she runs through the box on this one, so already moving. And the second that Tovin hesitates just a little bit, Maya Davis is safe, and Jerry Glasgow probably going to put on.
Terry sends it to right field. Guzman overruns the ball. Terry up to third. Throw to the plate is cut off. And Caitlin Terry doing it in the circle, now doing it at the plate. Red Raiders add on another. It's 6-0 Texas Tech.
Well, this a sinking line drive into right field, and Vienna tries to dive for it, but you don't have backup. So that's one of those ones you have to go ahead and catch it on one hop. If Maya Davis gets to third base, oh well, but she was making sure you weren't diving. Unfortunately for Baylor now, a run scored and a runner in scoring position.
Caitlin Terry, I mean, those numbers are so impressive as Tony sends it to center field. Back on it is Carter, makes the catch, and that is plenty deep enough for Terry to tag up, come home to score. 7-0 Texas Tech.
And again, if Vienna out in right field doesn't make that diving play, Caitlin Terry's probably at first base, so that's an out number 2 without a run scored. As deep as it was, it probably does score Maya Davis. That's where little things can be game changers.
Valdez sends this in the right center field gap. She rounds first, decides to hold. Another single for the Red Raiders. Back to the top of the order with Mia Williams.
We heard Coach Glenn Moore tell us that they're trying to swing within the first 2 pitches, but Texas Tech doing the same thing against Lexi Warnke right now. Anyway, Tony attacked early, Caitlin Terry attacked early. Vic Valdez, first pitch.
Now timeout. Yeah, it looks like a pitching change for Baylor. It'll be Sadie Ross taking over in the circle. Sophomore. Comes in with 1 on and 2 away in the bottom of the 6th inning of Carr, Colorado. 24 appearances this season, 6-2 record, 4.55 ERA. And she will come in and face the top of the lineup, Mia Williams, who is probably the best hitter right now in the lineup for Texas Tech. Williams today 3 for 3, all for extra base hits, 2 homers, a double, and has scored 3 out of the 7 runs for Tech.
And a huge opportunity here if Mia Williams gets a hold of one, and run roll will go into effect if Nick Valdez can score. But Sadie Ross started that game that they won on Friday in their series, and she was able to induce quite a few ground balls. So it looks like Coach Glenn Moore are going to go to his sophomore here, see if she can get something to stay in the park off the bat of Mia Williams.
Valdez at first with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. Shows bunt, but it puts it foul behind the plate for strike 1. Kind of laughing and shaking her head, almost like a why not look. 2 outs. Here's the 0-1, swing and a miss for strike 2.
A nice drop ball there by Sadie Ross.
So Mia Williams leading off in the lineup and ranking first in a multitude of offensive categories for the Red Raiders. Home runs, RBI, and runs.
Mia Williams just absolutely been able to unleash offensively at Texas Tech.
Drops it in for a called strike 3 on the inside part of the plate. Sadie Ross. It's Mia Williams to strike out looking. We head to the top of the 7th. Texas Tech leading 7-0 over Baylor in Oklahoma City. Caitlin Terry back in the circle here in the top of the 7th. Devon Park in Oklahoma City. Red Raiders leading 7-0 over Baylor. And Terry and Aisha Kennedy. Kennedy went the first 5+ innings. Gave up a leadoff walk in the 6th, but then Terry came in and able to retire the next 3 batters without giving up a run. Cran now will lead things off for Baylor. That's a sign inside ball 1, but Caitlin Terry has recorded more extra base hits as a hitter than she's allowed this year. She's just been unreal on both sides of the ball this season.
And it's really been, as mentioned, her offense that surprised Jerry Glasgow. He knew what they were getting defensively and as a pitcher. Said when he recruited her, he knew she wanted to hit, but he didn't know what type of worker she was going to be and how that was going to translate offensively. Did not predict her to have the numbers she does so far this year.
Induces a 4-3 ground out to Leah Cran. Here comes Faith Piper. He said it's pretty easy to get her in the lineup, even in the outfields. pitch misses for ball 1. Also has 10 homers on the year, so power numbers are increasing as well. Piper today 0 for 2, a pair of ground outs, both to the first baseman. Spoils this one foul, and count goes to 2-1. Baylor held to just 1 hit today, and that was by Amber Tovin in the first inning.
1 hit. The pair of walks has allowed a couple other base runners, but when you look at the line score and it'll say dominant, they have been able to put balls in play. They just haven't been able to find holes, or even a couple have been decently barreled up.
Yeah, quite a few have sounded good off the bat. They're just hit right at the defense.
Well, and Kagan Marshall was inches away from tying up the game in the second inning.
The home run that could have been.
Correct, and who knows if that's fair? That could be a different ball game, because that's a momentum shift. So, but you do tip your hat, and Nyjah Kennedy doing what Nyjah Kennedy does and keeping people off base.
2-2 just misses. A little bit low. Count goes full.
That had to be low, because that was right over the heart of the plate. If I'm an offensive coach, you're asking Faith Piper, what are you waiting for?
Now she sends it to center field. Davis back on it. I kind of readjusts. Makes the catch just out the wall for the second out on the top of the 7th.
Well, not a lot of wind today, but I think we've seen a couple outfielders who have had to switch direction and or come forward, go back a little harder than they expected. So I think that one carried a little farther than Maya Davis expected.
Well, we're gonna have a pitching change. Samantha Lincoln coming in.
Here by Karen Glasgow and pitching coach Tara Archibald.
And it looks like Terry's going to stay in the game but head to the outfield. Samantha Lincoln continues to warm up. 7-0 record across 20 appearances this season, 2.72 ERA. Comes in with nobody on base, top of the 7th, 2 outs.
Sophomore last year. Jerry Glasgow said in media day earlier this year, he tried to kind of hide her, didn't throw her in the World Series much, didn't want people to come try to lure her away from Tech in the portal. Ended up having to put her in at the end of game 3, and she really held her own and convinced her to stay here at Texas Tech and be part of the future of this as Nyjah Kennedy graduates. With the lefty, she can throw in the upper 60s. He is going to be command, as it is a lot with a lot of pitchers, but especially when you haven't had a lot of innings. And consistent innings at that.
Casey West makes the first pitch for a called strike on the inside part of the plate. I think that's an important thing you mentioned of Kennedy's graduating, so now Texas Tech is looking for this next wave to carry the program on. Throw to first is in time, and so far the program, it's their first tournament win of 2026. 7-0 over Baylor, and it just continues to build on the success from the tournament last year.
Well, they started out with a bang. Mia Williams going ahead and knocking the first pitch she saw out of the park. And they just didn't let up, and that's what Texas Tech does. When they get on a roll, they're going to continue to put the pressure. And Nyjah Kennedy, the senior arm, did what she does best. She controlled the game. She hit base runners at a minimum. And Texas Tech victorious here in game 2.
6 strikeouts through 5 innings, only allowed 2 base runners, single and a walk, and so Texas Tech will advance. But Baylor, I mean, you have to give the Bears credit too, because they did have some glimpses of what could come for the future, and it looks like they're building a good program that could be in a in a really competitive Big 12 next season, holding their own again.
Well, again, Baylor is in the conversation for a regional bid, so they will go into Selection Sunday hoping to hear their name. And again, a competitive run towards the end of Big 12 has put them in a decent position, and Coach Glenn Moore using the youth to his advantage. They got quite a bit of experience here against Texas Tech.
And they will meet the Kansas Jayhawks, who won earlier 6-5 over UCF. They will meet them tomorrow, 4 o'clock Eastern first pitch, back here on ESPN. But we have another game ahead. Oklahoma State taking on Utah. That will be at 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central. But Texas Tech takes the second game of the day, 7-0 over Baylor. They continue their hot season here in 2026.